The after effects of being involved in an auto accident can be very confusing and extremely stressful, especially if you've been injured.
Yeah, that's where Ed Smith steps in with a helping hand. Now, he's a local attorney who offers quite a unique and personal touch. Ed joined us today to talk about holistic personal injury law and more. Ed, thanks for being here. What is holistic personal injury law? And sometimes people don't think of holistic and lawyers in the same group, maybe.
No.
This concept is very new to us.
Really what the concept is about is not treating somebody that's in an accident as a victim, somebody that's been victimized, and really helping them see that everybody goes through what they go through in life, and things that seem to be adverse and things that seem to be negative can actually have a very positive effect later on in life. So I help to have people see that, and I use different modalities to help them see and move through this stressful time and get to a better place.
Now, what are some of the mistakes that people make when they hire a personal injury attorney?
Guy, there's a lot of mistakes, but one of them is, calling their Aunt Emma or their Uncle Bob and just saying, and he's a divorce lawyer maybe, and saying, can you help me on this? And they don't know. I mean, most people don't know lawyers. They don't know who to go to. And so if they select somebody who's not an expert, or someone maybe who even is good, but they don't have the financial wherewithal to take the case to a conclusion, a lot of these cases are very expensive and they take a lot of money to move forward.
Or an expert in that area. Because
Yes.
you mentioned a divorce lawyer who
That's
may
right.
not be
That's
well
right.
versed on the personal injury side of things.
One of the things that people can do is they can go to some of the rating sites. There's a site called abo.com, and it's a website where it rates lawyers, and it helps at least to give them some idea if they're looking for somebody that does wills and trusts or personal injury. See how the attorney is rated, and see that that he has the ability to take the case to a conclusion.
Ed, just the devastation of being in an accident or being injured is so overwhelming. You try to help your clients keep a positive outlook through the whole experience. How do you do that?
Yeah, I do. We use different modalities. One of the things that I really try to do is get to know my clients. So I will go out to their homes many times. If they're seriously injured, I will spend time with them, spend time with their family. I want to listen to them and see how they're doing. If they have an injury that I'm not familiar with, maybe it's a client that has cancer, I will go rent movies about people who have cancer. I will read books about it. I will get to know them, because in order to present their case to a jury effectively, I don't feel I can just present the raw facts. The facts never speak for themselves.
Now, talk to us a little bit about purchasing insurance. What are some of the mistakes people make?
Guys, the main mistake people make is they have insurance to protect them against other people when they're in accidents, but they don't have insurance on their to protect themselves. There's a type of insurance called uninsured motorist insurance,
right?
And so many people are underinsured in that effect. They don't have that insurance, or they don't have the right limits. There's so many people driving without insurance. There's drunks on the roads, and if you're injured seriously and you're out of commission for 6 months or a year, you don't have any option if you're hit by somebody without insurance. The only option you have is your own underinsured motorist coverage. So I always urge people to go and have adequate limits, at least $100,000 if they can afford it, for underinsured motorist
And
coverage.
shop around.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how do you know what kind of accident you need an attorney for? Is it every accident, fender bender, or is it more on the grand scale that you should contact somebody?
Well, what you need to do, Melissa, is look at it. Not certainly every time that somebody's bumper is bent, you don't necessarily need an accident, but it depends. There are cases where the car damage looks relatively minor, but somebody has, it's a straw that broke the camel's back. Some people have a pre-existing injury, and something that's very slight can turn out to be more serious than anticipated. I always tell people, look, if it's a relatively minor accident and you're feeling okay, try to handle it yourself. Try to work with the insurance company. On the other hand, if it's serious damage and you're hurting a lot, then you probably do need a lawyer.
Now, you mentioned having a prior injury. What if somebody has a prior injury or a disease before the accident? How does that play into things?
Yeah, so many people, Guy, they feel that a prior injury makes their case more difficult, but it doesn't necessarily. It can make it even better, because sometimes somebody with a prior injury they're hurt even more by the accident. So when I say better, I didn't mean better in that sense. I mean,
sure.
I mean, it can make their case stronger because they're just a sitting duck. Somebody that has a weak disc and then they're hit from behind, they're in much worse shape than somebody that's normal. So,
Yeah.
so it's really incumbent upon the attorney to find out a complete history and find out the medical facts of the person that they're sitting with.
Get to know their client.
Get to know them as
What a
whole.
concept, yeah.
Yes.
Right, now, Ed, how do you go about determining the value of an injured party's case?
Well, the most important thing, Melissa, is who is the person? Getting to know that person and have that person come across to the jury, if it goes to a jury, or an arbitrator or mediator as themselves. So if that person, has a solid history, I always say, look, a tiger doesn't change his or her stripes. They're the same person they were before and after. So really getting to know the person, who they are, make sure they're getting proper medical care, they're getting the solid doctors, they're getting the care they need. These are just some of the things. There's an awful lot of things that determine the value. What venue you're in, if you're in up county venue or here in the metropolitan area, that's a factor as well.
Now, Ed, you have a special for our viewers.
I do. I have a handbook guy that I'm offering for free. It's I wrote it. It's the Ultimate California Accent Handbook.
Okay.
And it's on screen there, and it's free for any viewers that call in today. Yes.
And it's easy to get a hold of you too, because your website is autoaccident.com. That's easy to remember, and there is the number up there on the screen for people to get a hold of you. Call
I also have an 800 number, 800-404-5400. If they want to speak to me personally, I'll speak to them today.
And you are a very nice person to speak to, and when they go to your website, they'll learn a lot about you. You have an interesting story yourself, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
Now, I'm telling you right now, I like classics. The classic movies. Yeah.
Yes.
So just letting you know ahead of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guy.